and welcome back to the channel. In this video we're gonna go in and finish up adding the new coin to our game, going in adding in the door to our actual level, and trying to finish up the enemy script. So let's first go and for the sprite sheet I made a new one that includes the door now, which has just the same blue block here with the D instead of P. And that's all for that. Now let's get into the coin. We need to, there was one thing actually I forgot to enable. We should put animation random on so we can see that it's actually working. Next, let's go to our base level. Actually, no, we're just gonna do this instead. Instead of changing that, we're gonna save scene and we're gonna override the coin here. So save over this. So we're gonna have that. And if we run the scene, now you can see the coins all have slightly different variations of where they're starting. So now let's go in, let's open up level 1. And let's go back first to base level. Gonna go in here and edit, grab this sheet. And we gotta make 2 tiles actually, one for the player, one for the enemy and one for the door. So let's go in, select, why is it not working? Why is snap options? There we go. I don't know why that was acting up. Let's go and select this. Yeah, it seems also that was disabled, so I don't know what changed since I've last done this, but so let's go in and do that. The selected tile, rename this to enemy, and let's go in and get our last one here and rename this to door. So that's that. Now let's go in. What we need to do is go in here and add 2 more constants here. One for the enemy and one for the door. And copy this. We're just gonna rename that to enemy and door. And go in here. Paste that. Paste that. Rename this to enemy, door, change this to enemy, and then change this to door. For the enemy, we're gonna change this to be a 4x4 instead. So that's it for loading of the assets. Now we need to go in. Let's go in and go to level 1. To make sure this works, we're gonna go in, add this, add a door. Let's move this portal down here instead. Let's see how this looks. Oh, I think actually we gotta comment out this. So let's select this, comment that out, comment that out. Oh wait, I forgot to load in the stupid door. Yeah, my bad. So go in here, find the door, load that in. I guess we can actually, well, let's go in here and load up the enemy here. We could uncomment these out. That should still work. As you can see, we got a door down there. Let's just go in. Yeah, that seems to work. So we got those 2 out of the way. Let's go in and finish off our enemy. So first, let's go in here, select the texture, go to art, get the sprite sheet here, set the animation to 6, I believe now, and change this to, I believe, it's the 4 frame. Okay, so that looks good. And what we're we're gonna do, let's take this, we're gonna take the transform and we're gonna set the scale of this 3.7 by 0.75. Floor checker, we want to change it to cast to 10. I believe we also need to enable this. Yeah, that looks good. So we got that. So let's create our light ocular. Actually, let's go back here and reset this to 1, just so we have a 1-for-1 scale of this. Then select each edge here. There we go. Let's see, let's go to top checker. Let's create a rectangle shape here. Edit this. I'm gonna make this 8 by like 1 or something. Transform, I'm gonna move this up. There we go. So now we have the top checker slightly poking out. And let's take this and create another collision shape for the sides for detecting the player. And we're gonna make this, I think I'm gonna keep it 10, but we're gonna make this like 6. And let's go in here and actually change the scale of this. And now one more thing we gotta do is now we gotta just remove this down a little bit. So let's move this down to 7. And this collision shape, this looks a little bit too big now. So let's move this down to like 8. Yeah, that looks fine. I think that should be okay. Let's just, yeah, we're gonna leave it by that. Actually, make it a little bit shorter. And let's also move this down a little bit. So we're not going to be able to detect it if it's right here, but that's fine. We don't want to have perfect collision. And let's go in. We got to quickly go in here now and start writing the script for this. We're probably not going to finish, but we can at least get a lot of the basics out of the way. So constant gravity, and we're going to set this to about 600. I'm going to set acceleration for the enemy to be about 2000. We're going to add some variables that detect which direction we are going so we can change it. We're also going to add a variable called detects glyphs, which will allow us to tell the game if we want to allow the enemy to detect if there's a cliff, or if we want to just let it just fall off the edge of the world. So last but not least, we have 2 more variables. We have one called velocity, vector 2, and I don't really like using built-in what is it called, pause mode. So I usually go in and create a variable called stop, and right now I just have it set to false. I feel like this works better because if I still want some kind of movement applied to the object, even if it's, I feel like having a simple variable like this would be also easier to control. So next, let's go into the ready function, and we're gonna go in here and add some stuff here. So flip h equals true. So that's telling us if it's -1, which would be going, I believe, left, we're gonna flip the sprite. We have a simple enemy sprite that's just a square, but if you had an actual sprite with like actual animations, you would want to use this. And last but not least, we want to go in and set the floor checker to be equal to position.x equals collision. Where's the collision shape? Oh, did I just realized that I forgot to add the standard collision shape for this. Yeah, no wonder why I thought something was right, because we got that, yeah. So we need this last collision shape. And this one's gonna just cover, I believe it covers just the whole enemy, yeah. So we're gonna make this one. We're gonna do the same thing as we did before. Set the scale to 0.75 by 0.75. Yeah, so sorry about that. I forgot to add that, but now we have that collision shape. We can go in here and use the shape and get its extends. Extends that x times direction. And that's going to set where the floor checker is going to be, because if we're going left, we want to set the floor checker to be at the left side where the player is moving. If we set it to the middle of the player, he could walk off the cliff, or I mean enemy, and it's just not going to work properly. So we set that at runtime, but also I believe we change it every time we hit off a wall or change directions. Now we gotta do is, actually the enabled part, we're gonna do this based off the detect cliffs. So actually, I usually have this enabled by default, but I guess we could still keep it on just so we can see that it's actually on. Okay, so there's still a lot left. I think we're gonna just call it a day here. This actually requires a lot more explaining, and we're also gonna be adding more, but first I'm just gonna add simple functions here, and if you guys want, you guys can try figuring it out for yourselves. So first we're gonna go in here to top checker, and we're gonna add body entered here, and I gotta make that bigger. So top checker here, and last but not least, we're gonna also add side checker. And last but not least, we're gonna also add an animation finished. So these are the 3 signals we're gonna require for this. We're also gonna have, I can add this quickly in here because it's a nice short function. So that's all the functions I have here. The rest, you just gotta go in and write out the specific functionality we want. So with that out of the way, I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye. Okay, I know I said this video was gonna end, but there's one small thing I wanted to show. If I click play on this project, you can see we have the player here. I have his spawn point down here. And if I pick up this coin here, you can see for a split second the amount of coins that you have pop up. Restart the level here and pick up a coin. You can see it went back all the way to 0. So, and it also works across levels. So if I go to the next level here and pick up another coin, it says I got 8 now. And if I restart, yeah, you saw quickly there. I gotta fix that. Maybe that if I click the restart button, maybe I should hide the UI. So yeah, that's one thing I gotta also fix. But that should be a quick, easy fix. If it detects I click the restart button, just maybe hide the player UI. And one last thing is I kind of took apart main menu system by a guy named, how do you pronounce his name, Nezervers, that made it's basically a template of making a main menu system. I personally think there's a little bit too much functionality in it, and it's kind of over cumbersome, and I think the documentation could use some work. So I'm gonna take it apart and make small pieces of it. This is kind of what the base main menu looks like, but from what I saw, he was using a bunch of random containers, I feel like personally for no reason. So I'm going in and I'm gonna show off how to design a UI as simple as possible, and show off the ability of adding in options, start game, being able to change music, sound, controls, and not having as much data being saved, because I personally think there's way too much in that GitHub repository. It's a nice project and good to use for game jams and stuff, but I feel like it's a little bit too much here in this project, so I'm going to try making a more condensed version of it, which is a lot more simpler. And with that out of the way, this is the real ending, and I'll see you guys next time. And if you guys want, I started a new series making a game dev journey from taking this tutorial series and going from the bare minimum to eventually making a full-fledged game. So if you guys are interested in that, link down in the description. With that out of the way, see you guys later.